My name is Lucas Beatty, and my company is Infrastructure Inspectors. What we seek to do is attack the three main pain points that plague every single maintenance firm that works in water towers, maintenance, any sort of situation like that. Number one being lack of information. I have a background in the water tower maintenance industry, and I can tell you every time we call up a maintenance or a municipality, we ask them how tall is your tower, what color is it, what type is it? They go, I think it's 100 feet tall. It's bluish. So that's incredibly detrimental to us because we don't know the shade of paint. We need to specially order this, and we need the proper equipment in order to do this type of maintenance. So we're going to be data logging all this information that is literally on the front door of every one of these water towers. They just don't data log it. So we're going to have all that information. We're going to sell it to municipalities and maintenance firms who are looking to do maintenance on these structures. Number two is lack of communication. 6 years ago, there was no such thing as an inspection report in the water tower maintenance industry. So my partner company, Water Tower Clean and Coat, started one. They took 2 photos before, during, and after they were doing maintenance on a rust spot. The municipality loved it. So prior to this, they hadn't ever shown any sort of information on what they were doing. This type of stuff is important to them because they're the ones funding it, and they're not going to go up to the top and look it up and check it out themselves. So we're going to be providing more information, more detail with our high resolution imagery from our drone, which you saw in the back, and creating more important inspection reports. Finally, we'll be changing from reactive to proactive. This current market, as you can imagine, if you don't have all the information, it's very reactive. So you'll see a problem spot, and it's already too late. It's going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars to fix. We're going to try and hit it early, get high resolution images quick, and then attack it while it's cheap to fix. This is how inspections are currently done in the water tower industry. If you think that guy is inspecting anything other than what's directly in front of his face or off to his left 6 inches, you're dead wrong. He's not inspecting anything within 50 feet to the other side or, God forbid, on the complete other side. So we're trying to get rid of that. Recently, they've been starting to use boom trucks. That costs $2,000 a day to rent. It takes 2 maintenance people to do it, and it takes about, $6,000 is my closest estimate of what it costs. We don't do those anymore because they're too time consuming. They don't generate enough money for business. We're initiating the ACT system, which is analyze corrosion, any sort of degradation, collecting that information, storing it in the cloud. That's our long play. We'll be selling that information to maintenance firms and municipalities so that they know what they're getting into when they're bidding on a job, especially large jobs like full coatings on water towers, which can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. So it's important to have all this information. That's my patent pending design called Mill Mount. Doesn't look like much, but I guarantee you it is. It's going to be a patent on the process of taking mill thickness readings from drones on any sort of structure such as water towers, bridges, wind turbines. Obviously, we're starting in water towers, we're expanding to the larger markets. My number one competitor will be Cyberhawk from the beginning. They mainly work in oil and gas infrastructure. However, they have started to make recent plays in the power utilities and land surveying. While they do have a 2-year head start, they're limited to photo and video information. They haven't made any strides to advance it. We're going to be coming out of the gate with a brand new technology, and municipalities have already shown that they love it. Our services will be plugged into companies like Water Tower Clean and Coat and Central Tank Coatings, where we will charge them a fee. We'll get the payment from them. We don't have to deal with the billing process between us and the government, which obviously takes a long time. Revenues, these are projected before I went to that trade show right there. I can tell you right now that all those revenues are drastically understated now because I now have 2 new customer segments, one of which I'll get to it in just a minute, and another being cell tower equipment. I'll be flying up there, taking just simple photos. Currently they have guys working around the clock taking photos of these cell equipments, going back down, taking them to Verizon, saying what's up there, and then they put new tower stuff onto the water tower. At the trade show, I met John Laird. He's the #1 seller of Tanemic coatings, and I have not been on a single water tower or heard of a water tower that's not covered by his paint. That has every bit of market grab as possible. He loved this idea. He automatically contacted me and said, I want to send you out on every quality assurance job that I have, making sure that it's not his coat that failed, it's the operator's fault, whoever that put it on. Maybe they didn't cure it right, Maybe they just didn't get to it and put it on when it was raining. This is a high-resolution photo that I took from my drone from a water tower that you might have seen in the back. If you were so kind to come by my trade show booth later, I'd love to show you how I sold $40,000 worth of work with just that photo. Thank you.
If you'd like to ask a question, you can ask the mic now. Oh, Scott.
Is there a market for this, for inspecting wind turbines?
Yes, huge market. That's the market that a lot of people are just starting to get into right now. They charge around $1,000 just to fly up, fly back down. They're not testing paint, they're not testing anything. They're just looking for cracks in the wind turbines. Maybe the leading edge is missing paint. And that drastically reduces efficiency, which is huge for wind turbines, as you can imagine.
Is that something you're going to look into getting into?
Yep, I have immediate contacts with NextEra Energy and and a college in North Dakota that's already testing pilots for doing this type of stuff.
All right, I just had a question about, did you look at price points for services and estimated how many you can do per day, per year, per month, so on?
Yeah, as far as how many to do per day, per year, that's kind of hard to do right now with our current regulation climate. With the current regulations, I'm stuck to it just being me and my dad that can fly these drones. But once the new regulations come out next year, I will be capable of mass scaling and doing franchises and stuff like that, where it's just a 20-minute survey or exam, and they'll be able to operate a drone commercially.
Can you talk a little to employees that you're going to have on staff and how trained they need to be and how long it takes them, and just to be able to cover, for example, Wisconsin, how many people you need to do this?
Yep, to cover Wisconsin, I'll probably need somewhere around 2 full-time employees just working around the clock. In this industry, we work really hard. And being a plug-in company for water tower cleaning coat, I have access to people that I can already work with. I've been showing them this for years, and we're starting to implement it. I already have 2 pilots that are capable of doing it, and one who's looking to work into Minnesota, live there, relocate there, and he'd be obviously a good startup location for Minnesota.
You'd mentioned proactive surveys of these things.
Yep.
Do you plan on charging municipalities to do these surveys, or are you just going to sweep through an area of the state or whatever and hit all the towers and then approach them with problems that you find in order to make your...
When I went to the trade show, they loved this idea. They immediately started asking me when I can come out. I'll be working through maintenance firms specifically. I'll be trying to work through there first, because then I can build a maintenance firm instead of getting built through the government, which obviously takes time, and I don't really want to go through that headache. So I'll be billing companies like my uncle's, Water Tower Clean Coat, for this type of service, and then I will be moving on to maybe municipalities and stuff like that for full direct expenses.
You mentioned one of your competitors. Are they actively doing this right now in any capacity?
Not water towers. That's the specific reason why I went after water towers. It's incredibly hard to get into this industry. You need contacts, and I have contacts and experience in the industry. I know what we're looking for. I know what to go after, and they love the idea. They, again, I said that they haven't advanced anything other than photo and video, and they want mil thickness readings. Those are huge in the market, because you can get ahead of any sort of issue and know what's going to happen.
And that exact technology is the one that you're patenting?
Yep. Taking mil thickness readings, yep.
So your survey process, is it impacted by weather at all? For instance, is bright sunlight versus a day like today where it's overcast, does it give you different results, or have you solved those issues?
As far as the mil thickness testing, the only thing that would affect it is rain, and obviously that would affect me flying the drone as well. As far as anything else, really heavy wind, probably 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, that would affect me. Other than that, weather doesn't really factor in too much. Sun especially doesn't really bother it at all. We have latest and greatest GoPro basically on that drone that's capable of doing anything that we need.
So it looks like in your projections that you're calling for $72,000 worth of salaries in year 3.
Yeah.
So for 2 employees, that's like, I don't know, $8 an hour. So who's going to be working for this?
Yeah, again, the business plan is outdated now from the trade show, because I had the trade show 3 days after I submitted this. No fault of anyone's, but that just happens. So yeah, as far as paying scale, it's probably going to be pretty low. It's going to be about $35,000, $40,000. I'm going to be looking for college students, specifically out of colleges like in Minnesota, North Dakota, areas like that that have programs set up where they're already training people how to fly drones. So I'll be looking for those people and gaining them and using them for their services.
Any other questions, judges?
Do you know how many water towers are in the state of Wisconsin and how long it would take you to service them?
That's exactly the
When
question
would that
I
run
asked.
out? And I guess one other follow-up would be like, how long would it be until they need to be revisited?
Sure. Well, those are kind of 2 separate questions. First one, first day that I thought of this idea, I immediately said, how many water towers are there in the United States? Searched in Google. No numbers. Searched Wisconsin. No numbers. There's no numbers anywhere. No one has any of this information. My uncle has a stack of municipalities that signed up surveys that we're going through right now to try and figure that number out, because obviously that's very valuable. So we aren't exactly sure. We know that they're in the thousands. Minnesota goes a lot higher because they have a lot of smaller municipalities and stuff like that that operate like this. What was your second question again?
No worries. It was how long until you need to reservice them. So if, say if you
sure.
have 1,000 and you visit them all in 1 year's time, is it going to be 10 years before you have to see them again?
It looks like every 2 years is going to be the good setup. So we're going to be going out there every 2 years, checking out, because it's relatively inexpensive compared to other services. So, yeah.
All right, that's time. All right.